Welcome back, it's Nine, and today we probably have one of the biggest videos for a while. We are going to be discussing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart with all types of information, including a release date revealed for this game. We are going to be talking about a new trademark made in a new country for Ever Crisis for Final Fantasy VII Remake. And we are also going to be talking about a new unannounced open world RPG that is coming to the PS5 straight from one of PlayStation's studios. Now, before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. Now, let's get started with Ratchet & Clank, as this is one of my most anticipated games of the year, and it comes straight from the PlayStation blog. So, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart arrives on the PS5 June 11th, first and foremost. So that is coming out in the summer. It leaves a question of when we're going to get Horizon, God of War, but we'll get into that some other time. But this is all about June 11th and how this is going to be a big day for Ratchet & Clank and for PlayStation 5 owners. So Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a brand new full-length adventure when the evil Dr. Nefarious uses a device that can access alternate dimensions to find a galaxy where he always wins. Ratchet & Clank are separated. As they try to reunite, they will meet a new Lombax Resistance fighter, explore new and familiar locales, but with a new dimensional twist, and wield a whole new arsenal of out-of-this-world weapons. If you've never played a Ratchet & Clank game, good news, this is a good one to start with, they say. It's a standalone storyline, and you won't be feeling like you're missing out on anything, but those that have played all the games will find deeper layers of connection to previous games. They have shown us the new artwork. The box art looks fantastic. You see the new Lombax, you see Ratchet and Clank, and I just love the contrast there. They also talk about pre-order starting today, and there's going to be a digital deluxe edition as well, and you'll obviously get the regular retail physical copies as well that are going to come with the same stuff. So with the regular edition, you're going to get the Carbonix armor from Ratchet & Clank going commando. It is now updated with the high definition materials, lighting responses, and ray traced reflections. Players will also receive an early unlock of the Pixelizer weapon, the Retro Blaster from Ratchet & Clank 2016, also updated visually for the PS5 console. Now with the digital deluxe edition of the game, you get 5 additional armor sets, 20 Raritanium to get a head start on upgrading your weapons, a sticker pack to use in Ratchet & Clank's first ever photo mode, that's right, confirmation of photo mode, as well as a digital art book and a digital soundtrack. So lots of great stuff there, and you might be thinking, well, how much is this all going to cost? Well, you're going to get the regular edition for $69.99. That's right, the increased price is $70, $89.99 for all my Canadians out there. And then on top of that, when you're looking at the digital deluxe edition of this, you'll be paying $79.99 USD and $100 Canadian for all my Canadians out there. So this is quite the interesting announcement. I'm loving all the new information they've given us. They've obviously given us a new trailer as well, and it all looks incredible. Now, lastly, they say, we know you're asking for the new Lombax's name, and it's not fair that we put her in the art and aren't telling you yet. Hang in there, you'll be feeling Rosie soon. Is that a hint that Rosie could be the name of this new Lombax, or Rose, or something along the lines? Maybe. We know Insomniac likes to do a lot of wordplay. Hey, I think this could very well be the name of this Lombax, but I'll leave that to you guys to decide if you think that's the case. But a lot of good news about Ratchet & Clank. Guys, this is one of the biggest titles of the year when it comes to the PlayStation 5 platform. This is really going to be taking advantage of the PS5's SSD, the graphical powerhouse that it is, and just everything. It's going to be amazing to see what this is like, and this is going to be a day one purchase for me. I am very much looking forward to this game, and I can't wait to see truly what it is like. Now on to our next topic, and this is all about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've been talking a lot about Final Fantasy VII Remake, so much so it's almost been the only thing I've talked about for the last 3 videos, so this will be number 4. And this comes from PSU.com, originally sourced from Gematsu, and it's titled, Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Trademark Spree Extends to the US as Publisher Files Ever Crisis. So Ever Crisis has been filed in the US. That's the 5th location the name has been trademarked after Japan, Europe, Canada, and Australia. And also a new trademark, the Isle Dragon Roars, has also been trademarked. I don't know if that's related to Final Fantasy. I'd be kind of surprised if it was. That I think that would be related to something else, but I could be wrong, obviously. In terms of Ever Crisis, I don't know. I'm starting to really get this feeling that this is a DLC title. I just don't think that we're going to get a whole standalone title about So Crisis Core, we'll just say. I'd just be surprised to see something like that. I could see a DLC because it'd be a much smaller scale, but if we're talking a full-blown game, I don't know that they'll do that. Same with The First Soldier being a story about Sephiroth. I don't think that these are games that would be standalone titles. I could see them being DLC, but not that. And that's just my opinion, right? Obviously, I could be very wrong about this, and it is possible. Maybe they do go that route, but I feel like if they really want to tell the story of Final Fantasy VII, and they want to tell it coherently, and they want to tell it within a reasonable time frame, it'd be crazy for them to do a standalone title about Crisis Core or whatever, and then do one about Sephiroth, and then at the same time tell the whole story of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Although I understand that it's more of a sequel or whatever, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just so many projects on the go. They're not really ever going to get around to doing everything properly if these are going to be full scale, like 40-hour games. So I think we are looking at probably DLC, but again, this is just my speculation. This is not based on any facts out here, but that is my opinion on this. I'm really excited to see what happens on Saturday. We're all going to know on Saturday what the situation is, and my hope, I'm truly, truly hoping that we're going to get all the questions that we have answered then, but we'll see what happens. Now, on to our last topic, and this is one of the bigger ones. I think this is something that surprised me quite a bit. So Sony is hiring for a game test analyst for an open world game, and you might be thinking, well, that's not really a big deal. Well, it's for Sony San Diego, the studio that makes MLB The Show, guys. So it says we need skilled testers familiar with immersive third-person combat, open world RPG elements, and challenging gameplay. So what does that tell you, guys? This is going to be an open world game with RPG elements, so it could be an open world RPG, right? And it's a third-person game. So this is very different from what Sony San Diego has worked on in quite a while. So when I pull up Wikipedia and I see that from 2018 to 2021, they only worked on MLB The Show. Before that, Starblood Arena. Before that, Drawn to Death. And then before that, Killstrain in 2016. So they have worked mostly on sports games. So it's interesting to see that. And I'm very curious what we're looking at here. What kind of game is this going to be? It's a third-person open-world RPG. And they do mention challenging gameplay. So I don't want to overuse the word Dark Souls type game because it very well could have nothing to do with that. But when I think challenging gameplay, that's what I think of. So under principles and duties, it also mentions utilize past experience exploring open worlds to provide feedback that will help improve the title for fans of games with RPG and puzzle elements. So we're also looking at puzzle elements. I mean, it all comes together. This looks interesting to me. I'm excited to see what this could be like. I think that we're in for a treat with this, and it's incredible to see that they're going to use this studio to their full capability, right? They're going to have them work on multiple projects because obviously MLB The Show has got a foundation. I'm not saying there is no development that's required for that. Obviously, they updated, they refined the mechanics and everything, but they could have a bigger team working on a new IP, which is what I think this could be. I don't know what, like, when I think open world RPG, I don't know what IP of theirs they may use, if they're reusing an IP, but a lot of it tells me that this has got to be a new one. I just don't think that I can personally think of a third-person open-world RPG that comes straight to mind as a game that they would want to revitalize, right? And this is why I love asking you guys about this, because you guys all come together and we think of, okay, what are the current IP that exist that we haven't seen in a while that could fall into this category? Or could this be a new IP? But that's all I have for you guys in today's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, all these details coming out. How do you feel about this new Ever Crisis trademark being filed in the US? Do you think this is going to be DLC? Do you think these are going to be standalone games? Do you think these are going to be films? What do you think this is going to be? And lastly, what could Sony San Diego possibly be working on in terms of a open world third-person RPG? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And as always, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Links will be in the description. And share this video with a friend. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.